This is a sponsored review of a new project called Dohrnii. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, slam the bell icon so you're notified when new videos come out. Your support means so much. And guess what? We're almost at the 10,000 subscriber mark. Thank you for your support. Please share this video. Please share this channel with people who you know will be interested in cryptocurrency and DeFi, specifically in GPU mining and in ASIC mining, so they can flip their profits into an ongoing income stream from DeFi and maybe even some staking and investing. Is this investing advice? Well, I wouldn't say that. What I would say is that this is an educational channel to help you make better choices about projects. And in this sponsored review of Dohrnii, we're going to take a deep dive and evaluate whether or not any of this project's claims should be taken seriously by people like you and like me. Again, this is sponsored content. I am not compensated in Dohrnii tokens or governance tokens, but I have been sponsored to take a look at this project. This video also is being reviewed by the Dohrnii team before I release it. However, they are not editing this video for me, and they have not told me what I can or cannot say about the project, just so you're aware, guys, just so you know what the parameters are here. Let me jump out of the way, show you the Dohrnii homepage. Now, this is available down in the description. You can see links down in the description for this project. What is Dohrnii anyway? Well, let's open up their little one-pager right here. You figure if they can't tell you in one page what it's all about, then it's probably too complex, right? Abstracts matter, and being able to summarize what a project is supposed to do in plain English, pretty important. This is how they explain it. They say, what is Dohrnii? Dohrnii is a global investment management ecosystem powered by a multifunctional digital platform based on the highest standards in blockchain technology. Well, so far so good, kind of high level. Also sounds a little bit generic. I'll explode this into my own little interpretation and interpreted view in just a second here, but let me read what they have to say about it. Developed by fintech and blockchain experts with a long-standing experience, Dohrnii is the first platform of its kind in terms of functionality and depth. I don't know if it's first, but we'll take a look. They say our goal is to provide financial literacy to everyone and democratize algorithmic trading in order to give users the same edge as large institutions. Dohrnii combines a wide array of functions that enhance the efficiency of traders through various tools. I'm sure they meant to put an S there. From portfolio management to risk evaluation, price prediction, and automated investing, the platform is suited for the needs of both beginners and seasoned traders alike. On the back end, Dohrnii utilizes big data and a bundle of complex AI-based algorithms, each with their specific purpose. Traders will have access to a high degree of automation and of investment processes, data that will allow them to mitigate risk and identify trades with high potential promptly, which will enable them to make informed decisions and to achieve better investment outcomes. The platform will be developed according to the utmost degree of security and transparency of the latest standards of blockchain technology. Whew! Okay. Now, guys, I wouldn't call this word salad or word soup or whatever. Like, this is, but it sounds very familiar, right? We've had a lot of projects come into the space that tell us that they use some kind of AI technology or machine learning backend, and then don't really give us a lot of transparency into what they use on the back end. In some cases, it's just sort of like Lambda functions on AWS or similar style serverless functions on other platforms like IBM or like on Azure for Microsoft or other platforms, right? Very similar. Google Cloud offers this as well. Serverless functions that allow for machine learning functions that could be beneficial to projects like this. So I don't really know exactly what this means yet. I don't have a deep dive into the white paper and into the documentation, rather, of the project just yet. I was asked to take a look at the project at the surface level. Just wanted to say this is how they represent it on their one sheet. So let's look a little closer. Here are what they think are their advantages right now. They think it's going to give you a high success rate. They think it's going to offer you wide functionality. They think it's, of course, based on blockchain technology. Now, as to what that means exactly, I'm just here to tell you, when it comes to high-speed algorithmic training, blockchain is not actually necessary. Oracles are. Being able to read information from the blockchain, yes, essential. If you don't understand what's happening on the blockchain, you can't make decisions about how to trade. But the blockchain itself, you don't actually have to blockchainize the tech stack that gives you that interpretive information or that oracle data per se. That doesn't have to live on its own blockchain necessarily. The immutability of a blockchain isn't always required for you to get good data as a trader, as I understand it. Again, not investment advice or tech building advice, just saying that blockchain is really good for some things, not necessary for others. So they say it uses blockchain technology to allow traders to gain transparent trading as well as swifter and more secure transactions. Not totally sure what that means, but again, this is the one page, so it's kind of like a high-level overview to give you a bit of a taste for what it's going to do and how it's going to benefit you. They say there's data feeding. This is where it gets interesting, guys, right? So this little swirl that brings you down into the center of what they have to offer. That's funny. It starts over here. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Go counterclockwise. Data mining. Macro and microeconomic data is collected and saved on the platform. Robo-advising. The AI builds profiles of the traders based on their interaction with the data and their performance. Kind of makes sense. If I were copy trading somebody else, I'd want to know their history. I'd want to know their success rate. I definitely wouldn't want to just like copy trade them blindly. So kind of cool that that's being recorded at least. Don't know if it requires a blockchain to do that, but I definitely would want to know that if I'm copy trading or if I'm following some kind of a bot or robo-advisor, that they have a history that I can follow and I can figure out whether or not their calls have been right. Data analysis. The data is continuously analyzed by the AI, which forms patterns and conclusions. Also, this makes sense. If there's success, if there's profit at the end of these trades, I'd want to know that there's back testing of these strategies and that it's continually then cross-referenced against other trades that are successful to see if there are like kind or there are patterns based within the various traders that they're trying to study and that they're trying to create an AI for. But again, it sounds good. Implementation is the big challenge. It says data feeding. Traders get access to the data and the conclusion based on it. The algorithms design trading strategies and portfolio adjustment suggestions. Okay, makes sense. And that would take a little bit of time to get a sense for what a given trader or a given group is actually going to do, right? So machine learning. The algorithms learn over time and improve their efficiency. Trading. Traders place orders on the Dohrnii platform. They're passed via APIs to third-party exchanges. Now, this is always a bit of I won't say a risk, but it's just a known limitation of platforms that have come in the past that attempt to do something like what Dohrnii is offering now, and that is that there are only so many platforms, only so many exchanges that offer really good APIs so that traders can get really fast interaction from their main dashboard and their algorithmic trading dashboard over to the exchanges. Now, especially for something like arbitrage, where you may have two different exchanges and you want to be able to take advantage of the differences in price between two different exchanges, you'd have to have really good APIs, and those APIs would have to be supported by the platform that you want to use. Hopefully, Dohrnii is able to go really, really wide and then deep on a few of the key exchanges, obviously like Binance and others. But hopefully they're able to go wide enough that those arbitrage opportunities are more broadly available to retail investors, and we can make more use of that. Again, just looking at the one-pager, I don't know that that's apparent, but hopefully that's the case. All right, looking at token distribution, apparently there was a crowd sale back in March, May. There we go. There you go. Upcoming main sale. But the token distribution, there's 70% that's reserved. Again, disclosure, guys, I haven't seen any of it. I'm not party to it right now. So my review of this project is purely scholarly, right? We'll say, okay. I spoke too soon. Guys, okay, calm down. It's purely intellectual. There you go. And for your entertainment and education. 70% for the crowd sale. 10% goes to the team and the founders. That seems like a slightly more conservative amount than many other projects where it'll be like 20%. But of course, under 20% in my book is where it's appropriate. When you get projects that go into like the 30% for their team and founders, that to me feels excessive. It just seems like it's too quick a money grab. There's got to be some other way to monetize or bootstrap to get into creating a project. And then, and I think it would be too much. 10% seems very, very fair, in my mind, fair. And then 20% reserves. So maybe it really is 30%, where 20% is directed by the team and founders, but 10% goes back to repaying directly the team and founders. Fund distribution. So let's see, with their reserves. And I think this has to do, okay, this is where it's not perfectly clear. I imagine that from this 20%, that's what this fund's distribution is talking about here. But reserves, legal, marketing, and development. So not necessarily going back to the team and the founders as compensation, but just the way that they are using these funds. Development, of course, makes up the lion's share. Marketing, that's how they got people like me to take a look at the project when it may not have been on our radar any other way. So again, thank you, team, for reaching out. There you go. Doesn't seem too terrible. The private sale, guys, little typo there. Need an E on private. 80 million Dohrnii at 0.1 euro per token. And that's going to take place, it already took place earlier this year in Q1. Oh, no, it's going through. Oh my gosh. You know what? The dating system was a little different there. I apologize. It took me a moment to catch up. But we're talking about right now. This is actively happening and will go through the end of July 2021 for the private sale. Again, not a part of that. Just guys, I want to reiterate it a third time that I am not part of the private sale. Be cool if I were, right? Like that's how the big channels totally make it big time. But I'm not. Just FYI. Pre-sale, another 80 million. That'll take place in August and go through October, the end of October. And then the main sale will take place from the end of October all the way into just the start of November. Very short main sale, though it's not clear how many tokens will be available. It just says, strange, very strange. So there you go. With bonuses that decrease on each portion of the sale. So private sale, pre-sale, and then main sale. I don't know how to distinguish between a private sale and a pre-sale. I don't know who will be given access to the pre-sale. Maybe that will be like somewhat public, but just kind of like a soft launch. And again, when it comes to token launches, guys, and token sales, I'm not really an expert at this sort of thing. The bottom line is that I know that these teams are trying to raise funds so that they can maintain governance and development of a project. So various different kinds of projects do this differently. And when it comes to exchanges, when it comes to tokens specifically that are more focused on investment, they don't always have a staking mechanism, and they don't always have a proof of work mechanism either to be able to create some kind of an ongoing block reward is then issued out, or token issuance to the community. So it really very much does mirror and mimic the traditional VC and tech startup space, where the investment is very front heavy. And if you missed it, then maybe you'll get a chance to buy those tokens in the future. But those who get in earliest do best. It seems pretty straightforward, right? This is not rocket science, and it's not a secret. So it looks like the roadmap right now, the way they have it lined up, in 2021, March is when the official white paper came out. May is when there was an airdrop, a bounty, and a private sale. It began. August is when the pre-sale begins. November is when the main sale begins. And then in 2022, they'll be building capital reserves for an exchange listing, doing some marketing and expansion, and then full rollout of their ecosystem sometime in Q3 of 2022. So the product and the platform is not there. It's not there today, but they are promising a roadmap where it'll come out sometime a year from now, roughly. So the start of Q3 or sometime in Q3, but about a year from the time of the recording of this video is when you can expect to see a full ecosystem, and all that implies with what they have laid out here for traders to be able to have all those APIs and the fast AI algorithmic trading system to go live. All aspects of it, not just the APIs to be able to execute trades on exchanges, but all of the rest that they've laid out. And then Q4 release of the mobile app implementation and further functionalities, which makes perfect sense. If you're looking at algorithmic trading, you have to go mobile. That it's very, very timely, right? So unless there's full automation on the part of the trader, being able to say, hey, these are my desired parameters, right? I definitely want to, if you've identified through the AI or the algorithm that you're using, at minimum, even if it's not AI, you've identified an entry point into the trade that you want to execute, and maybe a future desired exit point, or whatever the performance parameters are that you want to define for that agent that's working on your behalf. It makes sense to me that you want to have it on mobile too. I mean, we spend however many waking hours of our lives on these little things. It would make sense you'd want to have at least notifications of your trades, if not also the ability to execute trades and authorize trades on a phone. So cool, but that's coming last, it looks like, in Q4 of 2022. The team, I have not been able to totally look them up, but let's do that now, at least for the C-level executives. We're going to look at our CEO, our CFO, our COO, and check them out on LinkedIn. Looks like Dadvan Yusuf is based out of Zurich, and looks like a real person. Yeah, looks like a real person right here. And clearly has done some media, so is doxed, is somebody who's out there in public, has been working on the Dohrnii project for the last 6 months. Prior to that, okay, interesting. Senior crypto trader. I'm not sure what that means, being a senior crypto trader at Binance and at Coinbase and at Kraken, as well as a Forex dealer. So having those overlapping dates here between Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken tells me that Dadvan is a trader, a professional trader. And being senior level at that, I don't think that what is being indicated here is that he's actually senior at those companies, but at that description, that vocational description of being a trader. Very, very interesting that would be what's listed there. But moving on in the C-level team, or the C-suite, got Patrick, who is also listed, there you go, publicly, as the CFO of Dohrnii Foundation. Prior to that, Geschäftsführer. Interesting. And I apologize, guys. I'm gonna murder some of the pronunciation of some of the jobs and companies and names. So sorry in advance. Sorry, not sorry. Inhaber online shop. There you go. 13 years. Steady there with a very short time of this in between, but it looks like there was a little bit of a break there. It looks like a maybe then a bit of a promotion there at that job. But public person with a public work record there. And then Thomas Bardaville, there you go, living in Paris. Not publicly listed as part of the Dohrnii team, though. Very interesting, especially considering that you've got, on the one pager, you got him listed as the chief operating officer. He'd have to be doing plenty of work to make sure that things operate correctly at this company, right? So we've got a lot of people who we need to coordinate here between the, there you go, first technical hires, right, of a teaching officer, account specialist, and then Akash here, the poor guy, only person listed as a developer, actually building the product here, at least on this one pager. And then being a liaison between advisors and others on the team who may possibly need it. I would expect that the chief operating officer would be very public about being listed there. So I'm a little bit confused by that, having anybody who's in the C-suite not listed on LinkedIn. But they're all there. They're all real people. That's the thing, right? None of these people are pseudonymous or fake, right? They're not fictitious people. They're real people. So there's that. And that's a pretty important first step. I can't stand it when we review projects that don't have real people running them, but then have some like fake identity, right? These people are not fake. You see them on LinkedIn. As far as the advisors, we've got Yanislav Malahov, the godfather of Ethereum. I don't know what that means, and I apologize in advance that I'm not familiar with Lanislav's work. But there we go. Founder at Eternity. There we go. We have the Eternity blockchain. Pinko collage maker for all. Hey, that's cool. Very, very cool. So tech startup founder, apparently working on social media platforms. That's relevant, pretty important. Doing consulting work. Wow, bro. This is relevant in 2021 in a post Elon Musk interference world, but apparently built the Doge Flow wallet back in 2014. Quickly abandoned it though, but still apparently let's see if this is still live and available for Chrome. I'm using ungoogled Chromium right now. Looks like it's a dead end right now. Bummer, but kind of cool that you ever worked on it. That's kind of cool. Location-based multi-platform social discovery app. That was a big deal back in 2012. If you remember Foursquare, if you were on Twitter or using Foursquare between Twitter and Facebook at that time, location-based social discovery was kind of a big deal at that time, right? Things were becoming hyper-local in social media. This is a guy who clearly had his finger on the pulse of tech at that time and consumer tech at that time. So cool to have on the advisory team. Very, very cool. All right, but Dohrnii is not here. Yeah, that's a little bit disconcerting. It'd be really cool if Dohrnii showed up on that profile as well. Christian Ott, Andre, and Elaine. Let's see if any of them will claim. All right, Christian is in Zurich. That must be convenient. There we go. Blockchain advisor, showing it right there, loud and proud. Awesome. Andre, IT specialist, also, well, based out of Zug, not Zurich, but listed loud and proud as a Dohrnii Foundation freelancer, not an advisor. So it could be that he's putting in some of the work to build some of the early product right now. That's typically why I would put freelance here, is if there's some kind of a draw from that team member. But cool. And then Elaine not showing, there we go, there he is, process advisor. Very cool. So I imagine this person is working with our COO to help create SOPs. Awesome, 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 guys. I'm not going to apologize for doing the deep dive on the team. That matters to me. When there's a project like this and people are saying, yes, we want to build something that's important and that people are going to trade millions or billions of dollars worth of value through, I want to know that the team is doxed and they have some history that I can make sense of, and that for me at least signals that they have some expertise. So thank you, Dohrnii team. Those of you who've actually listed your association with the Dohrnii project, thank you for doing that. That puts my mind at ease. Really appreciate it. So that's the one pager, guys. In a nutshell, that's Dohrnii, but there's more. I know there's a lot more, and I know you're curious. I'm not obligated to say this in any specific language, and the Dohrnii team has promised not to edit this in any way. So these are my words, not theirs. The red leaf of the Dohrnii team is that they're based in Switzerland. Now, there are extremely fintech-friendly laws there. Swiss banking has been a mainstay in the international business community for as long as most of us have been alive, longer, right, than most of us have been alive. It's been a fixture in the international and global trade community, being able to do banking in Switzerland. Now, having there be trading platforms that are based there as well is part of what makes this team interesting and part of how they're marketing their team. Now, yeah, the ICO is apparently ongoing. Wasn't aware of that until they handed me this material. But they want to offer financial education, as you can see. Now, one of the things that this team apparently believes is very, very unique about their project is that they are AI and blockchain based. Now, as far as being AI based, I mentioned it before. I don't know what that looks like from a technical perspective. If they are genuinely using some kind of like custom machine learning algorithms or custom AI to draw correlative data between all the users on their platform, or if they're using some kind of serverless functions that help them draw some kind of a graph between different user behaviors and then make suggestions based on everything else that's working for users. That seems like the simplest way forward. And again, without being some kind of like a software architect or a solutions architect, just to my rational mind, that's how I see the fastest path to market. But they're billing it as AI. And I don't totally know what that looks like yet, because the documentation for a product that hasn't been built yet doesn't exist yet, right? So we're still at the early phases, but they claim they want to build AI specifically. Apparently one system that does work using a form of AI, whether it's limited narrow AI or it's actually just some machine learning functions or some serverless functions that have been sort of grokked into the service of traders, is Aladdin, the Aladdin project by BlackRock. And apparently in 2013, the Aladdin product by BlackRock processed about $11 trillion worth of assets. I mean, that's 7% of the world's financial assets ran through the Aladdin product by BlackRock. However, it's something of a black box. It's not something that everyday traders like you or I would be able to access. It's something that is very much for the high-end trader. And so that's why there's so much volume going through it, is because there are larger trades going through it, larger portfolios and funds being managed that are going through it. So, of course, this is that maintaining that advantage, that performance gap that high-end traders and that high-end funds want to maintain between you and me. I mean, we all saw what happened on Robinhood not long ago with GameStop and then, of course, with Doge. And we don't want to see that happen again. We want retail to win, you and I, at least, because that represents our interests. But there are products out there that have offered some of the functionality that Dohrnii is talking about, but not been available to retail, to us. Because of that, it's extremely common for traders, well, really only about 5% of traders who get started to make any profit at all, and even at that over long time frames. And then something like 80% of all new traders basically die in their first year. They don't even make it, right? They don't make it at all. And then something like less than 4%, it might be 3% of day traders are even positive with their P&L, right? Some kind of a positive margin. Trading is not for the faint of heart. That's what I'm saying. Trading is absolutely something that you should be trained to do and not take lightly. That's why on this channel, I don't talk about it that often, right? It's something that not just everybody can do. Again, plug in a GPU, start mining to an Ethereum pool, and if Ethereum mining is in the money for that day, you're going to make money 100% of the time, right? It's basically foolproof. That's why you hear me talk about that very often. However, going into a sideways market the way we've been in this bull run, which seems kind of weird, once again returning to a bear market, which we will ultimately do at some point, these are times at which I ask myself, what can I do with the Ethereum that I've been mining, or with the other cryptocurrencies that I've earned or bought or been able to stake and get rewards in over the years? How do I make that do more for me as a retail investor without having to trust some larger fund or have some kind of like a centralized exchange hack or centralized fund hack? I don't want to get Mount Goxed, is what I'm saying. I'm a bit price sensitive as far as that goes. So that's why you see me venturing more into some of these projects and trying to figure out and accepting some of these reviews when they come to me. Is I'm trying to figure out, how do I make my money work better for me? But these are not rational markets, right? They are emotion and sentiment driven markets. And in retail, we tend to panic a lot more because this is not our cup of tea. This is not what we do every day. So we don't know how to take massive sell-offs or really bad news that comes out of China or comes out of Europe, if you're in the United States. We don't know how to take some of that news, and play it cool and then make the right decisions. We don't have that training. So yeah, I'm very cautious talking about that sort of thing. Panic selling is a very common thing in the retail space, especially because of that sentiment, right? So being able to use artificial intelligence and specifically machine learning or even serverless machine learning functions to be able to help people like you and like me, I'm interested in that. If it does work, I'm interested in seeing that work and in seeing people succeed. However, I'm also very gun shy. In the past, cryptocurrency, it's no stranger as a market. It's no stranger to projects that come in and promise really big things and really big returns and even say that they're using artificial intelligence or machine learning and then wind up not using that on the back end. They sometimes just have a really good portfolio, or in the worst case scenarios, not saying that's the case here with Dohrnii. I don't think this is the case here with Dohrnii. They haven't proven the likelihood of being some kind of a Ponzi, but some groups have been literal Ponzis because they're not actually paying out profits based on really good algorithmic trading. In the past, some projects have been paying out profits just based on referral fees, which is the literal definition of a Ponzi. So don't think that's the case here. I apologize for bringing it up, but I'd be remiss if I didn't, guys. This is a review, and it's a eyes wide open review of a new project that's coming out. So robo-advisors, that's another possibility for any kind of AI utilization, in air quotes, robo-advisor. It might not be some kind of an AI that automatically executes trades for you, but just gives you a good heads up, gives you your signals based on your interests and some of the parameters that you define for that robo-AI. So it just alerts you. Again, that's why that mobile app is going to be so important, is that if I get a notification at 3 a.m., because crypto never sleeps and the exchanges literally never sleep, then I need to be able to get up, make a change, and fire off some kind of an order over on exchange. That's going to be essential, I think, to getting this thing off the ground. So AI, very, very promising if done correctly, right? If implemented and executed correctly, AI could be huge. An additional thing that's just worth noting is that Dohrnii intends to create a trading academy. So very similar to how large exchanges like Binance have attempted to do some little bit of education, Dohrnii is trying to take that to the next level with their education so their traders win more of the time, right? That's the only thing they can do to compete in this market, is to offer their traders better upside. They could do some kind of a cash grab, but that's just not going to work out for them in the long run. They won't be able to build through 2022 if they don't get their traders to win. So they're trying to educate also. So a wide variety of lessons created by experts that have all kinds of experience, not like me, but people who do trading for a living. That's what they're promising right now, early on in the project. And Dohrnii apparently they're keeping a commitment to being very transparent. They are fully regulated by the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, or FINMA. So investors can be sure that their funds will be safe. Now, I don't know if that means that they just have extra security involved, or if they're going to have some kind of insurance that is required by FINMA. In either case, that is who has certified the Dohrnii project, is FINMA. And they're partnered up with a KYC provider verification. This is par for the course, right? In the same way that if you were to sign up for Uber, right? Or if you were to sign up for other services on an app, there are applications and there are sometimes even just APIs that a given app developer can tie into to verify identity. Dohrnii has already done that, so that's already set. They know who they're going to use for KYC. So they're offering what they think is an advanced AI tech for deep analysis of the crypto market, and they believe they're the first project to bring this really powerful set of trading tools that were previously only available to the big funds out to retail. Small guys, little guys at home like you and I. Sign up is free. There's no like paid tier. So the Trading Academy with personalized lessons will be totally free to you and to me. And completing the lessons gives us free tokens. So we learn while we earn, or earn while we learn, and then have some kind of collateral to trade with after we do certain lessons. That's really, really important from an onboarding perspective. And then because they're offering to create an AI that's very personalized, that means that every trader is evaluated individually. So your personal trading history is going to be different from mine. Mine's going to be way different from somebody who has years of experience, and vice versa, right? So will yours. Even if you have years of experience, yours is going to be very different in terms of the key takeaways and the success strategies that have worked. And Dohrnii is offering to have that analysis and that AI sort of robo-advisor be custom tailored over time to what your trading style is and to what should work for you in terms of a strategy based on what it observes and can calculate. So the private sale is already going on. The 66% bonus is, I guess, still available to early adopters. I don't have much info there. You're going to need to go check out the project yourself. And when you do, you'll be able to study the white paper and the other materials, do a deep dive for yourself, guys. As always, do your own research. This has been a paid review that for me, I've been able to just carve out enough time to even take a look at this project. As you know, in markets like this, it can be crazy just finding enough time and finding good projects, right? There's so many bad projects that come out, sure, but even the good projects, there are so many that come out during markets like these because there are investors who are interested, right? So the good projects get attention, the bad projects get attention too, but the more good projects happen during this time than when there's not investment capital to help them happen. So it's very important to be able to carve out that time. So I really appreciate, again, to the Dohrnii team making it possible for me to evaluate it. But guys, if you're in the audience and you're wondering about it, check the links down below, do your due diligence, tell me in the comments section after you've read the white paper and some of the supporting materials. What do you think of Dohrnii? What do you think of the promises and the roadmap? Do you think it's worth your attention? Do you think you're going to try a platform like this? If so, what do you think would be the best possible way to approach it? Guys, I really want to hear your feedback because you're the reason I make this media. So thanks for watching to the end of the video. Thanks for being subscribed, hitting the bell icon, sharing the channel. We're so close to 10K. Guys, I can just taste it. I really appreciate your help getting there. Guys, you know I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.